Hello and welcome to Talkin' Trades, the weekly podcast where we talk about comics so you don't have to. I'm Matt, the stand-in DC fan for the next few weeks.
And I'm John, I'm a Marvel nut.
And did you know, that's right, we're still doing facts even though Jeremy isn't here. One of the more peculiar and memorable actions of Modok Supreme was the attempted infiltration of the West Coast Avengers as Brodok.
Oh, no.
Do you want to take a guess as to what it stands for, John?
It's going to be something over the top, right? So I'm going to go with...
It's extremely over the top.
Bodacious, righteous organism designed only for chilling? And it's a C? That's my guess. It's super wrong.
Still good. It is also known as the biorobotic organism designed overwhelmingly for kissing.
Oh my God.
Modok transforms himself into a handsome California boy with a slightly large head.
Oh my God. Get out with that.
Modok is pure and just goofy and stupid, and that is what we're actually talking about this week is Modok. And yes, you heard Jeremy's not here for the next month or so, so John and I are going to be doing some Talkin' Trades Talkin' Trades from the couch.
Talkin' Trades goes to the movies and also their couches.
Yeah, goes to the movies really one time, but hey, you know what? At this point, it's going to a theater, and I haven't been to one of those in a year and a half?
Is real nice.
I think the last time I went to a theater was when we saw Sonic, which was just
which is a treat.
A magnificent experience.
We got vaccinated pretty early, so we saw Raya the Last Dragon in theaters. That was nice.
Yeah.
And then for funsies, we did they were showing older movies as well. So we did Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That one would have been fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But you know what else is a good time? All 10 episodes of Hulu's hit show, Modok.
Hit remains to be seen, but I sure enjoyed myself.
I had a good time. And I did not realize it had such a cast that it did. Going into this show, all I knew was Patton Oswalt was involved. He was playing Modok.
And did motion capture. I cannot stress that enough.
In his own big Modok suit, which, look it up. It's so goofy. He's great.
I love it. Yeah, the cast is huge. I got it open on IMDb. Ben Schwartz as Lou, his kid, I felt stole every scene that character was in.
Just pure perfection in every way. Like we were talking about it off mic, and you see him definitely as how you should see him, which is a young John Ralphio Saperstein.
Like still ridiculous, but innocent.
Yeah. And his hair also just bananas.
Yeah.
I saw him still as Sonic the Hedgehog because that's just the voice that he was using was the voice he uses for Sonic.
And he was also running around, jumping around.
Yeah.
It's not outlandish to see Sonic.
It was fantastic. And then for that short bit, we got two of them. Oh, that was a treat. So
exciting. Melissa Fumero as Melissa, the daughter, who you would know from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes, I would. Amy Santiago.
Yep.
Perfect. I love her. She's my favorite. At least females on the show. My favorite is Captain Holt because it's Captain Holt.
Obviously. Sam Richardson as Gary. I love Sam Richardson. I know him, I think, primarily from Veep.
Yeah.
He just has the best, deadpan, awkward, subtly funny delivery.
Yeah, he was
ever.
Fantastic.
He's also in I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, which is, if you like sketch comedy and can tolerate some awkwardness, it's a real treat.
Speaking of sketch comedy, we also do have an SNL alum playing Arthur. I can't remember
Austin.
his name off the
Yeah,
top of
Beck
my
Bennett.
head. Yeah, playing Austin. Yeah, Beck Bennett.
He was the perfect smarmy higher up from like a parent company. He crushed that role.
Yeah,
Loved
he did
it.
fantastic.
Loved it. In very minor roles, I did not recognize Bill Hader, Alan Tudyk, John DiMaggio.
Bill Hader, I know that I saw his name and Alan Tudyk.
They're super minor. Bill Hader was Angar the Screamer.
Okay.
And Alec Tudyk was Arcade.
Oh, that was Alan Tudyk. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and John DiMaggio as AIM agent.
and then let's just talk about the perfect voice behind Wonder Man. Can we do that?
Sure.
If you don't know who it is, it's Nathan Fillion, and I was so happy. Like the second I saw him and heard him, I was like, I have to cosplay as Wonder Man now. I have to. He was so great. John Hamm is Iron Man, which was just once again just great casting. He did a really good job. But yeah, it was just all around 10 out of 10 when it came to all of these characters and just the campy goofiness of life of a so-called super villain.
Yeah, of an organism designed only for killing.
Yeah. But he actually has this beautiful family and his his wife, beautiful Latina,
Jody,
and then Jody, and then
and he'll never let her go.
His daughter Melissa, who has the same head affliction that he has, which is great. And then Lou, who is just like John said, stole every scene he was in.
Every scene. Yeah. So if you don't know Modok, because he is I'd say before like a year ago, he was F+ tier villain.
Yeah.
He's a big old head in a chair, like a floating chair with like a rocket propelling it. Teeny tiny limbs, all compared to his head. He had a gem, a crystal on his forehead. He could shoot laser beams from it. His shirt did all sorts of weird stuff. Different arms, different like orbs, cubes, just weird stuff. Usually allied with AIM, which Advanced Idea Mechanics.
Yes.
Which has been throughout Marvel Comics. I don't think they went into AIM in Iron Man 3. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't like the first of AIM that I saw outside of comic books was in the most recent Marvel's Avengers game.
Yes.
And that was because MODOK was the big bad.
That's why I said before a year ago.
Yeah, before a year ago. No one like.
Then he was the primary antagonist for a major video game release.
We knew of MODOK and have enjoyed him.
Oh, I have a MODOK mug, which I'm getting back soon, by the way.
Yeah, you are.
Well, work is having everyone's supervisors go in and pack up their personal stuff at their desks to ship them home. So my MODOK mug is coming back to me, and I'm very excited about it.
Coming back in a care package.
I'll say it before I said it again. I said it before I said it again. Best $5 I ever spent. Is that MODOK mug? It's a big old mug with a derpy face that holds 1,000 pens. It's great.
Yeah.
The show, like it I love it because it really cues in on like what the appeal for MODOK is and just that he's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is his appeal. Patton Oswalt, I think, did fantastic playing him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely crushed it.
Patton Oswalt. I'm a big fan. Yeah. Big fan. He always makes me laugh. He's one that if this podcast were to get big, he's a dream guest.
Oh, absolutely.
To have on here. It would be so much fun.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's dive into the plot of this clearly very deep show.
So I watched a chunk of this while working. So I remember the beginning. I remember the end. The middle gets a little hazy.
The middle, the middle, you have a lot of fun side stories and stuff like that. But it kind of progresses the two big main plots in the show is one, AIM is bought out by Grumble.
Yes.
Right? That's the name of
Yep.
the company. Bought out by Grumble.
Which is
and they
not
have to-
Google, because that'd be stupid.
Yeah, right. Their logo definitely doesn't have the same looking lowercase g. That would be silly.
And they have to appease the shareholders. But Austin is like, or the board, I'm sorry. And Austin, Beck Bennet's character, is like the go-to, like, ooh, home office needs you to really do this.
Yeah. Ooh, yikes, guy.
He's got like a little scarf on him. He has that dog that
Yeah.
that was
Yeah. Sherlock the dog. the doodle. I loved him. I loved that.
oh my God. But like meanwhile, and then at work, Monica doesn't much care for Modok. We find out that it's because back in the day, he took credit for something she did and then tried to play it off as like, it just makes sense if it's this way. So we could then build AIM up to be this whole great thing. But then Modok forgot that happened.
Right.
So she has like a right. She's very right to be angry with him, but there's a constant power struggle there. And I was like, where is Modok? What's going on with Modok? And then it like cuts to him just like at home in suburbia with his family.
Yep. Just
I love this show.
A dad. And then at home, outside of AIM, he deals with family struggles, particularly with his wife Jody, and learning how to try to keep his family together and deal with separation and stuff like that. The first episode is kind of, we get that introduction, we get that the fight that we see in the trailer with him trying to take over, and Iron Man shows up and kicks him so hard that Iron Man loses his boot, that was goofy and fun.
But they got the boot.
They got the boot. Who wants to touch Modok, who holding the boot of Iron Man? So that was good. Episode 2, I'm trying to think. I watched these really recently, so I should know this, but I have only the ending in my head.
That's all. We can go broader strokes. Because a lot of this is like weird one, like the one where we try to get like, the heist of the villains together to go take like Captain America's shield. That episode goes actually nowhere.
No, it doesn't. It's great. But yeah, so wife, Jody and Modok, they have a rough patch. Jody wants a separation. At that point, Modok, in a last-ditch effort of desperation, takes Jody back in time to go see it was Third Eye Blind, if I believe. Third Eye Blind concert that they missed in college because that was the day they found out that Jody was pregnant with Melissa.
Yeah, those times like, why don't we go? This is great. Why don't we go to this?
Yeah. And they go and they have a good time. And when they're on the campus of their school, they get noticed by past Modok, who then follows them. And Modok, while they're at the Third Eye Blind concert, abandons his wife to go kill Austin. Why do I want to keep saying Arthur? Austin as a child. And then that results in the big standoff.
He is told though, like, it's time travel. She'll never know you were gone, which like does make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like,
I mean,
not a good decision, but it made sense.
No. I mean, it definitely didn't help that the merch guy was, screaming out, this upcoming band's new merch, which just happened to have titles that get Modok to do it.
I love this show. There's so many stupid gags.
There's so many.
And like a really heartfelt rendition of Never Let You Go.
Yeah.
It's so, I love it.
That episode, you see, because the time machine breaks, young Modok gets the crystals that make time machine possible stuck in his face, and he goes through a time warp. And then you see Jody and Modok live through just watching their entire lives, including the time where on Thanksgiving, maybe the turkey wasn't completely cooked. Maybe it became a murderer turkey.
Who's to say?
Yeah, who's to say? You just have to watch the show and find out. Which then creates another fun little thing on top of the two main plots with Modok and with AIM going under and his family, is that he also knows that there is a younger version of him. Well, he doesn't know. We know. Out to get him, to stop Modok from living this life that he deems unworthy for Modok.
Because he still has Modok's dreams of when he was younger, because he is younger, of at least maybe world domination.
Yep, world domination. God Emperor Modok.
Yes. So he still has those ambitions, those dreams, and he sees Modok present day and is like, you were told your entire life you're special. You've wasted all your potential for what? For a regular normal family? No, that's not. You're well above that.
Meanwhile, at work, with AIM and with Grumble and with Austin, not Arthur. Good job, Matt. You see that Austin is working for a board, but the board is a little bit different than what you would expect.
You see them every so often, but you see them as like silhouettes, like what's that stupid show with the briefcases? Deal or No Deal.
And Deal or No Deal. Yep.
Yeah, like that's what you see them as.
And they do a thumbs up or thumbs down when things are going well.
Mm-hmm.
Or not well.
Yeah, not well is the case, maybe.
And, for example, like hijacking this gala for Grumble and having aliens that literally party people to death show up and do.
Yeah, there's a whole thing with the portal where it's like, don't go in there. Oh, everything's dead. Most like, what? These guys are fun. It's great. And then like the party just cannot stop.
Yep, and people are literally dying. There's a lot of death here. This is not a show that you show your kids. You don't show the show to your kids.
No, Hulu realized that. That's why there's a disclaimer for every episode where it's only for mature audiences.
Big old TVMA right there.
No one listening to this podcast is allowed to watch it.
Unless you're an adult and can handle adult themes. Mainly just gore. Lots of gore. A lot of blood in a goofy animated show.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, you mentioned the episode where there's a heist where Modok goes into this fancy schmancy bar for the world's top supervillains, and I think Mr. Sinister was there.
It is the bar with no name. Which is cool.
And then he gets kicked out of the big dog's bar where Mr. Sinister is. He gets laughed out, and then he goes to the bar with no name, and he comes up with a plan that he's going to steal the shield of Captain America. And he runs into these also just bottom tier villains that I don't know if they existed beforehand.
I guarantee you they did in like one issue of something and were never brought back. Like I guarantee it.
Marvel's Condiment Kings. You love it.
Yes. You don't see enough of Marvel's Condiment Kings.
You really don't. You see their heavy hitters, but they also haven't had a Lego Batman-esque movie. Though now they could, because apparently Lego like WB no longer has the rights to making Lego movies, which makes me sad.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. He gathers up this group of ruffians. Big fan. All of them are big fans of the restaurant Nightloaf. Nightloaf. I know what you're asking. What is Nightloaf? Well, it's a meatloaf. It's a 24-hour meatloaf place. That's not actually open 24 hours.
It's an all-night meatloaf place.
Yeah, it's an all-night meatloaf
that they had to get to before midnight because it would close.
It closed. And that episode, like John said, goes nowhere.
It goes absolutely nowhere, but the nightloaf thing is such a good running gag.
It's such a goof. It's just so goofy.
Like they get to the nightloaf place and then the server's a knight. And then Modok's like, oh, I didn't realize this was medieval place. The knight's like, it is not. So the server's just dressed up like a knight.
I mean, dress for the job you want.
That's absolutely what happened there. Such a good running gag.
It was just, you think it's done after the first one. It keeps coming back when they keep going in new hijinks. And the android that
I think it's like Adaptoid, yeah.
Who at first I thought he was the same person who did the voice for Heisenberg in Resident Evil, because he sounded exactly like him. And I was like, is this Heisenberg? I'm so used to this voice yelling at me, trying to kill me with his magnetic powers. But it's not. I forgot who it was.
It is John Daly.
Yes, John Daly, who does fantastic. I loved Adaptoid. And he gets picked up by young Modok, who is, trying to foil his life.
Yes.
In order to make his life better. As one does. But really, we see these plots eventually hit their head at the ends of the show, which we find the one plot that wraps up first kind of is the AIM plot.
Yes.
Where Modok, he sells his shares to Tony Stark and then convinces the new scientist supreme,
Monica.
Why can't I do names today? I watched the show today. I watched it for like 3 hours.
I'm going to be honest. I have IMDb open right now just because I don't think I'd be able to.
That's, you know what? That's thinking ahead. That's thinking ahead right there. Big brain John with his big brain ideas.
I mean, not quite Modok brain, but we're trying.
Not big brain Modok. But they sell their shares. They decide to leave AIM and start AIM 2, which is lovely and fun. Mm-hmm. But what we don't know is that Austin had been tasked to make essentially an Alexa, type thing that people can put in their homes, that this bored creature, which turns out to be this like living, they call itself a living corporation. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, it's like it's like made of like weird space dust, but it's like sentient, and they go from planet to planet, draining the resources.
Yes. And the whole point of their Alexa thing was to take control of the minds of Earth's inhabitants while they destroy Earth.
So like the whole series, they like have it do a thing, and it provides like the answer it's asked, and then it kills like 10 people.
Yep. And then
Monica's like, look, I fixed it. They do the thing, still kills 2 people. And he's like, so Austin, once he finds out, he's trying to delay the launch of it. Cause he's like, oh no, I guess we can't launch it after all. Oh, that sucks. Cause it kills people. But Monica's like, no, it kills 2 people now. Like that's a marked improvement. And then when Modok gets, one scene I love too is when he's in the graveyard, and he's just like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And then there's a groundskeeper raking leaves, and he goes, well, looks like I got to turn over new leaves. That's what I call raking, turning over new leaves. And he's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. And then it happens like 2 more times, one of which is a couple being intimate, which is ridiculous. And he's like, God, this is a very busy graveyard. Just like,
gotta go at it from a different angle.
So then he like is a mailman or mail person, as he clarifies, rightfully so. Mm-hmm. And just is happy being knocked down from Scientist Supreme to mid to low level employee in the organization. Yeah. But he fixes it to where it can launch. And he's like, hey. And And the board is very pleased. And he goes, but that's not all. I sold AIM. At this point, Austin is a dog hybrid.
Yes, he falls into some sort of fusion chamber with his dog, Sherlock. Sherlock being the only reason why he wants to stop this evil living corporation entity.
Because they decided Sherlock needs to die.
Because they decide Sherlock needs to die. And, well, you don't kill dogs.
Nope.
That's what we call not cool in the biz. We don't call that. That's not cool.
Anecdotally, I saw a thing where it's like, why did Cruella bomb at the box office? And it's like, well, you made a movie about someone who kills puppies. You want to make her the hero.
Yeah. Like, no.
Like, maybe think like another step with that plan.
Like, yes, I understand you had some success with the Maleficent show or movies. And I understand that Emma Stone is perfect and talented and great in every way possible.
But like for Disney villains, like, you know, give me a Hades movie. Let me see that.
Yeah, give me that. Give me Jafar.
Jafar would be amazing. Also, like if you want to stick with female villains, I think Mother Gothel will be really interesting. Mm-hmm. And like Evil Queen, like let's give her some actual flavor.
Yeah,
like you can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that is neither here nor there. As Austin / Sherlock is writhing around on the floor, Modok, like I said, he does sell his shares, and unfortunately, Austin he gets out of this creature hybrid, and he finally has Modok alone without the board watching to tell him, "Hey, you can't complete that project." But before he does, Gary, knowing that something's going on with Austin is against Modok, and Gary loves his boss Modok, despite, you know, his boss shooting off his arm.
And being in a committed relationship himself.
And being in a committed relationship himself, decides to run Austin over with a truck. And so ends the tale of Austin.
Yeah, and I think what he gets involved into was the same device that Monica was able to yield a child from.
Yeah,
because she cloned herself into Manica. So, because there's one point where it's like, God, like I'm like you're. I think was it? She's the mother's like, well, not you, and the daughter's like, but I am you. You cloned yourself and had me with yourself.
Yeah.
It's such. I love the weird jokes that wouldn't work with any other Marvel property.
Oh, absolutely not. It could not work with any other property or any other character like it can with Modok.
And like especially with AIM, they decided that AIM's like motto is science for science's sake. Like, yeah, do all the weird stuff you want. Yeah,
do the weird stuff. But yeah, so at the end of that whole arc, we do see that the board recruits a new person to take the spot of Austin, which leaves a cliffhanger for what we're hoping for a season 2.
I would like it because we definitely ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, we did, and I really now want that season 2, given that what it looks like it will be promising and set up as. So we do see in Modok's family life, him and his wife do get separated, and Jodie releases a book. Book becomes huge book, and she finds herself that
I think it's like a self-help-ish book.
It's a self-help.
Is it like Jodify your life or something like that?
Yeah. Yes. Like, you know, your surroundings, like where you live, is an extension of your spirit. And of course, Modok lives in just a rundown studio apartment with a bunch of rats. It's not good.
Eating a child-sized party lasagna by himself.
And we don't even know what that means. What is a child-sized party lasagna? It sounds like it's 2 separate sizes on the size sheet. But So she enters into this book deal. Her agent, right, is trying to get her to go goop, which is just good job, Patton. to go and try and have this lady turn Modok's wife into Gwyneth Paltrow. And she's suggesting, like, okay, well, how about you talk about this this recipe you had with your abuela and playing, sports with, whatever. And she's like, I'm from Colorado. They're like, okay. Then why don't you dress in like black and red and have a big old hat? And she's like, that's just where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego.
That's Carmen Sandiego. So you see that, and she goes to see the sales of her books. She's put on the bottoms of the shelves and stuff like that. And she runs into the goat. She runs into Wonder Man, and they have a 1 episode long like relationship, or 2 episode long relationship. And she is immediately pulled in by all the cameras and stuff following them, because Wonder Man is an actor, and it gives her clout. It builds up her book. Her book becomes highly selling. She's trending. And when her trend is starting to go down, she has to go run into her separated husband because she needs more drama. Which then, of course, there's a whole release party that he's invited to, and Modok gets Wonder Man to beat the snot out of him. But you see that she gets kind of poisoned against what she is at the beginning of the show, which she's, genuinely a good mom and, a good person who loves her family, who loves her husband, but also is willing to stick up for herself against Modok being, well, Modok.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see that all happen. Turns out all of that was planted by young Modok. He was the author of Modok's Pain.
Yep.
And he has a fun little thing where you see Modok turns himself around after everything that happened with Wonder Man and things like that. He reads the book and he follows the guidelines and he turns his life around. And everything that could go right in his family life goes right. Jody takes him back. The kids are happy he's home. They even start a family band. But something seems off. And we see that that's not his family. His family is being held by I guess we'll call him he calls his name at the end, the anomaly. Because that way it's easier than saying old Modok and young Modok. And he's just giving Modok this life that he's always wanted. And if he doesn't realize you're gone, you will die watching him, and this, that, and the other. Of course, Modok figures it out, but only barely. Because he was like, well, I picked up the robot waves, but you were making it really hard. I almost gave up. And he goes to save his family, and that's where we see Alan Tudyk's character, Arcade, and he has a whole... he has 3 different families there. 2 of those families are robots. And so we have this finally come to a head where they all have the families figuring everything out. And then young Modok, the anomaly himself, comes down and is about to throw down with Modok. He rips out a piece of like Modok's like processing or something, right? And we see Jody go and, well, she does a thing to young Modok where she rips him in half, and then they fix him, and then they have a nice happy family moment. And you think, oh wow, everything's finally going right in the Modok family. He has his family back. They're getting ready for Lou's bat mitzvah. And then we see time stop. And who's to show up but the anomaly himself. And he takes Modok through all these different realities where Modok fails and he gets killed by every Avenger, including Hawkeye. And he
that one, he took that personally. He's like, oh man, Hawkeye gets me? Come on.
And he's like, oh, that's not even the worst of it. And then it shows all the fun ways that Modok dies on the toilet after eating a child-sized party lasagna. Yeah, child-sized party lasagna. And then he finally takes him to the one future where Modok becomes
God Emperor Modok.
Yeah, God Emperor Scientist Supremer Modok. And before he can meet himself in that future, he gets taken back, and the anomaly says, well, if you want that life, you have to let me kill your family. And so Modok is in a conundrum, but at the end of the day, you see that either he chose to have it happen or the anomaly decided to take matters into his own hands. But the show ends where you see Modok sitting above his empire, and he just had a big old fireworks show, everything that he could possibly want. But he was
just informed that they're unveiling the statue, depicting the building of a statue, depicting the building of a larger statue, all in his honor. Atop a throne made of Iron Man.
Yes, his Iron Throne made out of Iron Man. And
like everything's going pretty great.
Yeah, it's everything that he's wanted since you started the show, right? And so we see that happen, but he's not happy. He's miserable. He lost his family. And the show ends where you see him go down into his lab, and connected to it is the younger version of himself, the anomaly, with his crystals still being used because Modok is trying desperately to get his family back. And that's just kind of where it ends. It ends on that kind of little bummer. And you hate to see it. You really do. But otherwise, the show is just like, it's very hard to go through the entire plot on a podcast because a lot of the episodes are, goofy side adventures. They're fillers.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
The main plots, though, are definitely the trouble at home, the AIM being bought out, and the Modok of Future Past, the anomaly.
Yes, which is the name of the last episode too, is Modok of Future, or Days of Future Modok, rather. And I was like, I get that one. I get that reference.
But I mean, we went over the plots, and that's to say nothing of his daughter Melissa or his sons Lou, or the whole. Oh my God, that one episode where like there's two of everyone in his family, and one of them is a robot.
Yes,
and they have to kill the robots.
Yes, the whole issue with the arcade, which is how we got to lose, which is just so great.
Yeah, they're able to get everyone except the Lus, and no one could bear themselves to kill the other one, so they're just keeping two Lus. Just calling it a day.
I mean, I was hoping that was going to happen, and then it did, and I was so happy.
I didn't expect it. I expected like a classic Looney Tunes like safe coming out of nowhere and just icing one of them, and then just assuming that was the robot. That's what I guessed would happen, but I am very glad that we got two Lus.
Yes. And two Lus at their bat mitzvah, which is just
bar mitzvah, yeah.
Yeah, their bar mitzvah, which is just hilarious.
Oh my God. And did you see how that whole thing paid off? The beginning is like, spoiler alert for my bar mitzvah, I'm planning on releasing doves. And then they try to release doves and they're stuck in the suits. And they can't get the doves. It's a great show. If you have Hulu, strong recommendation.
Absolutely.
If you don't have Hulu, I don't know that I can say this is worth the price of admission. It's worth getting a trial for these 10 delightful episodes.
Things on Hulu that are worth the price of admission. if you're a Stephen King fan, 11/22/63. Handmaid's Tale, that show I've only watched bits and pieces, and it always makes me sad.
I've heard good things.
Very good. My mom loves it.
Pen 15 is excellent.
Pen 15, The Animaniacs, of course.
Yeah, anime. I have a couple episodes to go on that one still. I like Rami a lot. I like Shrill a lot. Future Man. Oh, I am Future Man's #1 fan. I love that show to death. And I will die on this hill. That show is amazing. Comedy gold.
But yes, if you have, time to binge a show, it's a quick watch. All the episodes are like 25, clocking in at 25 minutes. Only 10 episodes. Yeah,
it's like a Robot Chicken style, like art style, stop motion to it. Yes. Patton Oswalt did do motion capture for Modok.
Patton Oswalt
cannot stress that enough.
Yep, did Modok mocap, and it was fantastic. It was fun. There are parts where it does get very heartfelt, and they deal with, Modok not wanting his kids to become him, and his kids just wanting to be accepted for who they are. Like Lou does magic, and it's great and it's fun, and they go to Asgard and stuff like that, which is all super duper fun. But you can't really explain it in an audio medium. That one's more of a show, don't tell, which is funny because the show is
strong recommendation. Give it a ride.
Yeah, absolutely, give it a ride. But I think, we could talk about this show all day, because just there's so many. You see a lot of different, I guess, Easter eggs. You see a lot of Marvel call outs. You see a lot of Patton Oswalt definitely. You could tell he includes his love for rock music because he makes a few references here and there as Modok, which is fun. And when I hear those, I'm like, oh, that's fun. And mainly, like we said at the top of the episode, the cast is they crushed it. Each one was they casted their characters perfectly. Of course, with Ben Schwartz, he's so hot right now. Just like we said, he stole the show. Lou is what I feel like every child should be.
Oh yeah.
Just parents, if you're listening, just make your children Ben Schwartz. Don't tell me you can't do that. Make your children Ben
It happened once.
It happened once. I will also accept Melissa Fumero with a large head.
God, that is so. I just can't believe they went there with that. It's so good.
And she's also a very good ice skater.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I think that about wraps it up, at least for Modok. We talked a bit on it. We talked about the main plots, but there are so many plots in each of the episodes. And yeah, give it a ride. Next week, what are we watching on the couch, John?
We're going to be watching a classic that I have never seen in my life. We're watching the DC animated Batman Under the Red Hood from 2010.
From 2010.
This is Batman 11 years old.
Under the Red Hood. It is
That's some math nobody asked for, but now you have it.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray for it. That movie's great. You get to see John DiMaggio's Joker, which is a very different Joker than I think you've seen before, John.
Yeah, I've not seen John DiMaggio's look. I've not seen Waka be Joker yet. Yes. Very excited for it.
You have not seen Bender as Joker. And then you also get the delightfulness of Neil Patrick Harris playing Dick Grayson.
Ooh, okay.
As Nightwing. It's a great movie. It's so good. And it's totally based on a completely new character that's totally not Jason Todd at all.
I mean, this is, yes. Batman Arkham Knight? Who's to say?
Yes. Yeah. Good old Arkham Knight. The movie that, or the game that could have been more, but I still loved it. But that'll do it for us here on the Talking Trades couch. We'll trademark that, Talking Trades couch. But we'll see you next week when we talk about Batman Under the Red Hood. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye. follow us on Twitter at Talking Trades. Follow Jeremy on Twitter at LizardKing27. You can find John on Twitter at Maesterlaka, Maesterlaka. And for this and other projects from Matt, please check out Facebook at Matt Speed and Music. And remember, we're not experts, we're fans.